Changeling. Grease pancakes with caramel or pour it separately in a saucer? Mom asked. Although this woman was smiling, there was hatred for me in her eyes, I could feel it. In a saucer, I replied. I had to pretend like I had no idea. She's not my mom. Yes, this woman was dressed in her things, looked like her, but I knew the truth. I know it was my father who told her that I love pancakes. But still, they will never be as tasty as my real mother cooked. She will never replace my mother, no matter how hard she tries to deceive me. I'll go to the yard, play with the puppies, okay? I asked. Of course, dear, mother affectionately patted me on the head, but I knew perfectly well that she would rather wring my neck with pleasure. I went out into the yard, and my furry friends rushed at me barking. We had many dogs because my real mother loved them very much. This woman who made pancakes for me was watching us through the window. I felt her icy eyes, full of fierce hatred. She never went out to play in the yard with dogs, she couldn't stand them, and it betrayed her. Dogs feel everything, she can't hold them like a father. My father thinks that I have no idea, and pretends that everything is as before. He kisses this woman, hugs, they go to bed together. Can't he see that it's not her? How did she manage to do it so easily? Even though I'm only 7 years old, I can see right through this woman. She can't fool me. It all started after the accident. We went shopping before my 5th birthday. It was raining heavily and my father lost control. The car went into a ditch and overturned. I hit my head hard, and my real mother died in that accident. I'm sure of it. When I came to my senses and was discharged from the hospital, a completely different woman was waiting for me at home. It was definitely not my mother. After playing with the dogs, I returned to the house and went up to my room. I brought coloring books. My mother came to see me. Your father bought you new felt tip pens yesterday, but he didn't have time to return it. You were already asleep. I'm 7 years old. What coloring pages? This woman annoyed me. My real mother would never have made such a mistake, she knew my hobbies. Dima, why are you doing this to me? I'm trying. But you, the woman was crying. I did not believe her tears, she specifically tried to pity me so that I would believe her. This pissed me off even more. Get out. Go away. I do not know you. You are not my mother. I screamed in my heart. Dima, be quiet, your father will hear. The woman was frightened. Please give me a chance. No. Get out. What's going on here? Father entered the room. She's not my mother. I hate her. The woman was crying. Honey, wait for me downstairs. I'll be down soon. Try not to take his words to heart. The father tried to calm the roaring woman. I don't know why I've been trying all day, mother choked with sobs. Shaking with tears, the woman left the room. Why are you acting like this to your mother? The father looked worried. She's not my mother. I don't know this woman. I answered with a challenge. Dima, son, I don't understand what is happening to you. How can I help you? Tell me, what should I do? Nothing. I continued to get angry. Leave me alone and kick this woman out of the house. Dima, began the father. Mom is trying for you. Don't call that woman my mother. There was desperation in his father's eyes. He took a deep breath and said in a tired voice. Please, do it for me, pull yourself together, you can handle it. These are all the consequences of the accident. You hurt me and my mother. Father's eyes softened. I hate her. Let her go. The father pursed his lips. He always did that when he didn't know what to say anymore. Dad patted my hair, kissed my forehead and whispered. We can handle it, everything will definitely work out. I promise. Everything will be as before. It's my fault. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. All night I heard screams from my parents' bedroom. Father and mother were cursing. The woman was crying. The next morning, my father made breakfast for me. He sadly said that my mother had to leave for a short time. I really upset her with my behavior yesterday, and she needs to gain strength, but soon she will definitely return to us. I was happy. Finally, I got rid of this imposter. Unfortunately, my peace of mind did not last long. A week later, the woman returned again, and I decided at all costs to bring her to clean water in order to open my father's eyes to the truth. I behaved disgustingly, in every possible way trying to provoke her, so that she would take off her mask and show her true face to her father. But the imposter did not give in. She tolerated all my antics and kept calm, even when I scattered the porridge all over the kitchen and put a plate on her head. It was necessary to come up with something more serious. I had to save us as a father from this woman. She doesn't love him, I can see it. One evening, just before my father came home from work, I crept up behind the imposter while she was cooking and pushed her onto the stove, causing the pot of boiling water to overturn and severely scald the woman. "Oh, you filthy bastard!" The imposter screamed and grabbed my hair. "I hate you, you filthy bastard!" The woman continued to ruffle my hair. She was furious at my antics. I was pleased and waited for my father to catch this scene. He was supposed to be back from work any minute. "I'll kill you, little scum." The woman grabbed a fork and stuck it in my hand. I screamed in pain and was very frightened. My prank went too far. I never expected her to be capable of such a thing. "Dad, help me. Dad." "Yes, bitch, I'm not your mother," the woman hissed. "And I won't pity you." The changeling dragged me to the stove, stretching my arm forward towards the burning burner. "Let me go. I knew you weren't my mother. Dad." The burning flame severely burned my fingertips. "Still, you bastard. Dima!" exclaimed my father, who had returned from work, and rushed to my aid. The woman screamed. Her father punched her hard in the face. Blood from the imposter's nose spattered onto my shoulder. The woman released me, and I hid under the table in fear. The father grabbed the imposter and dragged him up the stairs to the second floor to the bedroom. But the imposter managed to get out, leaving a tuft of hair in the man's fist. With a desperate cry, she attacked her father and began to try to scratch out his eyes. I have never seen my father so angry, his face was completely different. I did not know what to do. Suddenly, this woman will hurt Dad or he will do something stupid. In our family, only my father had a mobile phone for work. He took care of my mother and me and did not allow us to use the internet and have cell phones, because they cause cancer. But I had to call someone to help Dad. And I ran to the neighbors. Seeing me, my faithful pack of dogs barked joyfully, but I had no time for them. Our house was a long way from the neighbors, and I had to run for a very long time. My hand hurt badly, from which blood oozed, but I did not pay attention. I had to help my dad. I saw the animal eyes of the imposter. She definitely wants to kill him. Finally, I ran to Uncle Lyova's house and was able to explain everything to him in a hurry. Uncle Lyova called the police, and, taking a gun with us, we hurried to help my father. We arrived at our house at the same time as the police car drove up. When the police broke into the house, the imposter hit my father on the head with my mother's statuette of a copper crane. Seeing the policeman, the imposter rushed to them with tears. I didn't understand anything. After that evening, I was sent to be raised by my maternal grandmother. I never saw my father again. Grandmother decided to tell me the whole truth only a few years later. It turned out that my father could not come to terms with the death of his wife and the fact that through his fault I lost my mother. He tried to replace her. The father found women who looked like his dead wife and tortured them in the basement for several days in order to break the will of the unfortunate. When the victim was ready, he made her pretend to be my mother, dress and act like her. The captives could not escape. A pack of dogs was waiting for them on the street, which would have bullied any stranger, and there were cameras all over the house, so that the father can keep track of everything that happens. There were no telephones or the internet in the house either. The victim had no chance to contact the outside world. If the next captive played her role poorly and did not find a common language with me, my father got rid of her in the nearest forest. I don't know exactly how many women my father harassed, I remember only 3, but I still can't forgive myself for the way I behaved with them and tried my best to get rid of them. After all, these poor women were just trying to survive, and I, without knowing it, decided their fate.